Brad, what can you attribute to the slow start in the first half, and then how frustrating is it to play so well in the second half, and then obviously they hit shots?
I think, well, first of all, hats off to New York. They made shots, and ultimately, sometimes that makes the difference in the game. Oftentimes that makes a difference in the game. But, I thought the three biggest threes they made, other than the Burke three at the very end, was the Trier three at the end of the third, off of a great pass. I believe it was Burke off the pick and roll that just sprayed it across the court. Those guys made every right play off those screens. It was really good. And then the two Knox threes, where, we just didn't get into their airspace enough to make them feel us. And at the same time, they've got to knock those in. And so that's a hats off to them for that. As far as like coming back and winning, not winning, it would have been a shame for the Celtics to win that game. Knicks deserved to win, and we gave ourselves a chance, but that's all it was. We're not. We're certainly not a 48-minute team. I'm not sure we're a 24-minute team, but I did see some good things out of that lineup, so that was good.
Coach, two things were mistakes on coverage, that they were getting open threes, and then what about sustaining it for 48 minutes?
Well, I just think, I think it all starts with what kind of resistance are you providing at the point of attack? And for us tonight, it was very minimal. It was nothing like what we looked like at Charlotte defensively, and they scored the same amount of points. But we really guarded with way more force against Charlotte than we did tonight. And when we did get, a little bit more pressure on the ball, we allowed some drives and we got beat off the dribble and those type of things. But, this is one of those things, and I know we're going to ask about like specific parts of the game or whatever the case may be, and I'll answer anything you want. But this is a lot of things, right? And so we have a myriad of issues that we have to fix.
Brad, have you ever, just going off of that, have you ever been at this point of a season where, whether Butler or here, just where you've had just this much to deal with, and how, like, do you go about attacking
Maybe not
that?
this much, but I've had two seasons before where we came back with maybe not this high of expectations relative to level, but at Butler we brought everybody back. My third year as a head coach, and I thought we started off just, kind of like this, up and down, but our defense was the one that was really hurting us. What turned that around was we just decided to be nasty tough, and we just went with it. And then all of a sudden, everything fell into place, and we just put everything else aside and grit our teeth and played. And then a couple years ago here, when we had mostly everybody back in, we added Al. And we started off, 11-11 or 12-12 or something like that, and then ended up with 53 wins. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to turn it around, though. And the reality is you have to grind it out. You have to work, and you have to be able to weather all this other stuff that's going on with it. I heard Brett Brown say this earlier in the year, and this is where coaches are sick. In a twisted way, because the losing eats you alive. That the storm is part of the job, and I'm looking forward to getting a chance to really dig in, and hopefully we can weather it.
This is, for the most part, the same group you guys had last year. It's same personnel. Is there anything when you're watching or even practices or anything that you can kind of attribute to where things are sliding, whether it be cohesion or guys interacting with each other?
And I don't think it's it's not one guy, it's not two guys, it's all of us. I think we're not playing with the same personality we played with last year. That's the easiest way to describe it. And then the 50,000 issues that are below that, we have to tackle one at a time. Brad,
it seems like every game becomes kind of a wake-up call. The the Utah game.
I just don't know that we're that good, Gary. Like, maybe it's not a wake-up call if you keep getting beat. You know, like, we have to play better. And it's not because we're not capable of being good. It's not because we weren't good at one time in our lives. It's you're good if you play good. And, I mean, the results are speaking for themselves.
What do you attribute to Murray's 50, the 43 from Kimba, the 29 from Mitchell, and now tonight Burke? I mean, the guards are just – I mean, is it just them hitting shots? Is it defensively a break?
We got to put more presence on the ball. There's no question about that. Again, I thought Walker's was probably different than the others. But the others have to make the shots, and they have to be those guys, and they've done it. You know, I thought Trey gave them a chance to beat Portland last night in the fourth quarter. He was unbelievable. And he's been playing with great confidence and playing like this, and you know, we just have to put more presence on the ball. I mean, I thought we had toes inside the three a lot on a lot of those pull-ups and a lot of those challenges, and you can't be like that against a rhythm player.
Brad, you said maybe we're not that good. Do you think your guys know that? Do you think your guys are thinking that way? They came in with pretty high expectations on themselves. Do you think they're in the right headspace as far as knowing where they are and
yeah,
how to get there?
I think it's a cycle, right? Like, I don't think there's any question. I mean, we're out there. We're all out there. We see what's going on as far as how we're playing, and we're being outplayed. And I said it a couple weeks ago, like, we have a scoreboard. So at the end of the day, we know if we're having success or not.
Brad, why did you take Jaylen Brown out at the top of the third quarter, minute and a half in? Sorry, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
I wanted to play Jaylen with that group.
Brad, to follow up on what you said about not playing with the same personality you guys had last year as a coach, what was that personality for you?
I think we all know it. I think we all know, like, we were, I think we hung our hat on things that led to winning, and we just got to get back to that.
Brad, you seem incredibly level-headed right now for considering the situation. Do you feel like you're more kind of comfortable and prepared to take on a situation like this compared to earlier in your career?
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, right? We all have a lot to be thankful for. We lost a basketball game. We got outplayed. We've lost a few in a row. It's been a tough stretch. You know, I think that we'll work, and we'll do our very best, and that's always been good enough for me. Like, I've always, that's okay. Like, you're not going to have great days every day in this, and part of this job description, like I said earlier, is weathering the storms. And so, you know, this is a job, and we'll work to correct everything we can. And so, but we're also very thankful for all that we have, even on nights like tonight. Thanks.